Okay, let's just jump right in. We've got a whole stack of research here, and it all seems to circle back to one, let's be honest, pretty uncomfortable question.
The one you probably ask yourself at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One you avoid. Is it, I feel productive, or is it just, I feel busy?
That distinction, that's the entire ball game for modern productivity, isn't it? For most people, if they're being honest, the answer is just busy.
Right.
They wake up, they're already on the defensive, pulled in by notifications, urgent messages, that inbox that never ends. Your attention is just shattered before you've even had your coffee.
And the sources here paint a really clear, almost universal picture of what happens next. You end the day completely drained, mentally exhausted, and the really important things you meant to do.
They didn't move forward, not an inch.
Not at all.
And that feeling, that perpetual motion without any meaningful progress, that is the defining challenge of knowledge work today. What our sources make crystal clear is that the old hustle culture way of thinking is, well, it's fundamentally broken for 2026.
So why is it failing now? I mean, we used to reward just working harder, waking up earlier.
Because the nature of the work itself has changed. Your output now, it relies on complex problem solving, on deep analysis, creativity. It's not about stamping out widgets faster.
Right.
So the diminishing returns hit so much harder. Pushing yourself nonstop just creates sloppy work. It guarantees burnout. Productivity isn't about time input anymore. It's all about focused output.
Okay, so if the solution isn't just brute force effort, what's our mission for this deep dive?
Our mission is to help you move away from that toxic cycle of just being busy. We want to help you build sustainable systems that work with your brain, with your natural energy cycles and with the reality of all this modern information overload.
So we're digging into the evidence.
We are. The evidence-based strategies that can actually transition you from the illusion of progress to real, measurable, meaningful results.
Let's start right there then in our first section, the cognitive cost of busyness. Why is being busy so addictive if it's so, counterproductive?
It's a really powerful psychological trap. Busyness gives you instant feedback. You click a thing, you answer an email, you show up to a meeting.
You get a little dopamine hit.
Exactly. A little hit that tells you, hey, I'm working, I'm moving. And that activity feels satisfying, it looks impressive to others, and our society often rewards that visible effort.
Even if the effort creates zero value.
Zero. And the research is clear that satisfaction is completely divorced from actual achievement.
Okay, so what's happening in the brain?
Well, what's fascinating here is the science of attention. Our sources consistently hammer this one point, the cognitive cost of constant task switching, what we all call multitasking.
Right.
Every time you jump from, say, drafting a report to checking Slack to answering an email, your brain has to perform what's called a context switch.
And that has a real measurable cost, right? It's not just a feeling of being distracted.
Oh, it's a massive resource drain. Think of it like this. Every time you switch, your brain has to shut down all the operating parameters for task A. Then it has to recall all the necessary info and the right mindset for task B, and then load that new context. It's like running 10 tiny separate apps in the background at once.
Each one is draining the battery.
Each one drains a tiny bit of your mental battery until, boom, it's the middle of the afternoon and you just crash. You've lost energy, clarity, and your decision quality is just plummeting.
So if our default setting, the way most of us operate, is just task switching all day, then pretty much all those quick productivity hacks are kind of flawed from the start.
They are. Because they're fighting our brain's basic operating system.
I see.
The sources are really specific here. Those hacks will fail unless they are built around focus. They don't fix the root cause, which is scattered attention. The real goal, and this is counterintuitive, is not doing more things faster.
It's doing fewer things.
It's doing fewer things, but with exceptional clarity, with real intention, and with direction. And once you truly accept that, your whole relationship with your to-do list changes. So that clarity, that requires systems. And in 2026, you can't talk about systems without starting with technology. How do we turn our tech from a distraction into a tool?
You have to manage it strategically. I mean, automation and AI, they are incredibly powerful allies. They can save you hours every week. But, and this is a big but, we have to maintain a critical distinction.
Okay, what's that?
Technology should remove friction. It must not replace your core thinking.
That sounds like a tricky line to walk. I mean, how do you know when you've crossed it? When you've started outsourcing your own value?
It happens the moment you outsource judgment. or prioritization or strategic decision-making to a tool.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay, say you use AI to summarize a really complex strategic report, and then you just blindly accept that summary as fact. You haven't applied your own critical judgment, your human context, your ethical framework. Your value comes from synthesizing all that, from applying wisdom.
So tech should just handle the busy work.
Exactly, so you can protect your attention for that high-impact work.
So what should we be handing over to the machine? What are those high-impact automation areas?
The repetitive, low-value tasks, the ones that just drain your energy. Think about things like scheduling meetings, sorting and filtering huge numbers of emails, summarizing first-pass research, that kind of thing.
All the mundane organizational stuff.
Right. Automating that doesn't just save 5 minutes here, 10 there. It critically protects your cognitive energy from all those context switches we were just talking about.
And removing that friction, it brings us to the real advantage. The sources are so clear that time alone isn't it. The real prize is the quality of thought that follows. And that means mastering deep focus.
Yeah, deep focus or deep work has become maybe the single most valuable and underrated skill today.
Because it's so rare.
It's incredibly rare. Because everyone else is distracted, the ability to concentrate deeply for a sustained period is, well, it's like a superpower. It's enormously valuable in any field.
I think the mistake most people make is trying to stay focused for like 8 straight hours, which is just setting yourself up to fail. You sit down, you get distracted, you feel bad about it, and then you just repeat that cycle.
That approach almost always fails. It assumes you have this linear, limitless attention span, which nobody does. The effective strategy, according to all the research, is way simpler and more sustainable.
That shows.
Block one uninterrupted focus session, maybe 90 minutes max. During that time, you shut down notifications, you close all the non-essential tabs, you just eliminate the switching.
And the claim is that one focused hour can be more valuable than a whole day of distraction.
It can easily outperform an entire day spent jumping between tasks. Easily.
But getting into that state is hard. I mean, it takes real effort to ignore that little itch to check your phone or open a new tab.
It absolutely should feel uncomfortable at first. And that is the key counterintuitive truth about deep focus. It often feels slow, it can feel boring, it feels difficult.
And that's when most people quit.
That's it. They quit because they hit that resistance and think this isn't working. But in fact, that resistance means your brain is successfully pushing past all the surface level noise and starting the hard work of rewiring itself.
So if a full hour seems impossible, you treat it like a workout.
Yeah.
You start small.
You treat it like a trainable muscle, not a talent you were born with. For sure. Start with 20 or 30 minutes of fiercely protected focus, then build up. 30, 45. Up to that powerful hour, hour and a half block. The more you practice initiating that deliberate focus, the easier it gets.
And the better the work becomes. Okay, so now we need to talk about consistency. Because nailing one focused hour is great, but maintaining that momentum, that requires systems that don't rely on us feeling motivated.
That's the critical failure point for most people, isn't it? They rely on motivation. And motivation is it's a chemical flash. It comes and goes, especially when life gets stressful.
So if your success depends only on discipline or motivation, you're toast.
You are guaranteed to burn out. Eventually, you need structure.
And this is where we make that big shift from goals, which give you direction, to systems, which create that reliable daily progress. How do systems actually protect our mental energy?
They reduce something called decision fatigue. I mean, just think about how many tiny decisions you make before lunch. Which task first? Which email needs a reply now? Should I go to this meeting? What am I even going to eat?
And by 3 o'clock, your brain is just mush.
Exactly. Your capacity for complex thought is severely depleted. That's why people make their worst decisions late in the day or just stare at their screen doing nothing. You've used up your mental energy budget on all these low-leverage choices.
So systems automate the choices.
They do. Effective systems like pre-built templates, clear time blocks for different types of work, a weekly review checklist, they just reduce the need to decide. The best system is the one that still works, that still moves the needle forward, even when you're tired or stressed or just not feeling it.
And the easiest way to install these systems is something called habit stacking. It's a brilliant little concept because it basically bypasses the need for willpower.
Right. It connects a small, desired action to a routine you already do without thinking. And the action you add is so small, it almost feels like it's not even effort. But that's its power. It builds this compound consistency.
Can you give us a couple of really practical examples?
Oh, for sure. We're talking super specific triggers and actions, like After you pour your morning coffee, spend 60 seconds reviewing your single top priority for the day. That's it.
Just 1 minute.
Or, as soon as you finish lunch, close all your tabs and set a 20-minute timer for focused work, or for the next day. After you close your laptop for the evening, write down the one most important task for tomorrow. You don't need discipline for that, you just need to follow the sequence.
Little actions attached to existing routines. They compound so much faster than trying to force some huge new behavior.
Which brings us to the absolute non-negotiable for making any of this work long-term. Energy. This is the forgotten pillar of productivity. If your system assumes you have unlimited energy, the sources are unanimous, it will collapse.
Productivity without recovery is just burnout in disguise.
It's an unsustainable sprint. Exactly. The systems we build have to acknowledge we are biological creatures, not robots. High performers are not the people who brag about working nonstop.
No, they're the ones who recover intentionally.
Yes. Rest, sleep, nutrition, recovery, boundaries. These are not rewards you earn after you perform well. They are the absolute requirements for high performance in the first place. You have to be intentional about when to push and, crucially, when to pause. Energy is the foundation for everything else.
Okay, so if we're throwing out busyness and we're prioritizing systems and energy, how do we redefine success? How do we measure our day if not by the to-do list?
We stop measuring productivity by how busy we look, by visible activity. We start measuring it only by the value we created and the clarity we maintained. This is the final and maybe the most important shift.
So let's give everyone those key reflection questions from the source material, the things you should ask yourself at the end of the day. Question 1. Did I move something truly important forward?
Question 2. Did I make tomorrow easier for myself? Which, acknowledges that preparation is productive work.
And number 3. Did I protect my focus and my energy today?
If the answer to those 3 questions is yes, then that was a truly productive day. Even if half your to-do list is still sitting there, unchecked, this whole approach, it just fundamentally aligns your definition of productivity with real outcomes, not just activity.
And this framework, it leads to the most powerful long-term change of all, which is this idea of identity alignment. Instead of saying, I have to have more discipline, you shift to expressing an identity.
That identity shift is the ultimate psychological leverage point.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about the difference in the internal monologue. The person who struggles is always saying, ugh, I should check fewer notifications, but I keep failing. It's a battle of discipline.
Right.
The person who builds systems, they shift their identity. They just think, I'm someone who protects focus. They're not fighting to resist their phone. They're simply acting in alignment with who they believe they are. A focused person.
So you stop saying, I want to build systems, and you start acting like I'm someone who uses systems. It goes from an aspiration to just an expression of who you are.
Exactly. And when your habits align with your identity, you're no longer forcing yourself to do things. You're just being you. That's the point where productivity becomes sustainable. It becomes effortless.
So this all synthesizes down to a really powerful idea. Modern productivity is not about hustle. It's not about pressure. It is definitely not about trying to cram more things into every minute.
It is about clarity. It's about deep focus, intentional energy management, and supportive systems. You do not need another perfect routine or another app. You need fewer priorities and better structure.
Okay, so here is your high-impact challenge for the coming week. This is drawn directly from what we've unpacked today, and it's something you can do immediately. 4 foundational steps.
Number 1, block just one deep focus session. Protect it fiercely from all notifications, and treat that mental discomfort you feel as a really positive sign of rewiring.
Number 2, automate one repetitive task. Use your technology to remove friction scheduling, sorting, email, whatever, but never use it to replace your core thinking.
Number 3, attach one small habit to an existing routine. That habit stack is your foundation for consistency, especially when your motivation just isn't there.
And finally, protect your energy. Schedule rest and recovery not as a reward, but as a non-negotiable requirement for high performance.
And remember that final provocative thought from the sources. You don't need more pressure, you just need better structure. And crucially, remember this. If you feel overwhelmed, you are not behind. You're just busy. And now you have the systems to change that.